So let's talk about a feeling that's pretty much universal in modern life, that nagging sense that something's just off, that feeling of dissatisfaction. And even more importantly, we're going to explore a surprisingly simple, scientifically backed antidote to it. You know the feeling I'm talking about, right? It's that chronic sense that things just aren't quite as they should be, that maybe you haven't achieved enough, or your relationships aren't what they could be, or you just don't have the stuff you're supposed to want. It's like this constant low-level hum of dissatisfaction that makes you look at the world and feel a little envious, and then look at yourself and feel a little disappointed.
And man, this feeling gets amplified everywhere. Pop culture, advertising, and especially social media, they're constantly hitting us with these massive expectations. We're told that anything less than the dream job is a failure, that our lives have to be this perfect highlight reel of amazing experiences, that you need to look a certain way, have this huge circle of friends, and of course, find your one perfect soulmate. And the whole time, the story is that everyone else has already figured it out and is just happy.
But what if there was a way to push back against all that? Well, over the last 20 years or so, researchers started to get really serious about figuring out how we can counteract these negative emotions. This is what led to the rise of fields like positive psychology, which is basically the study of what makes life worth living, and cognitive behavioral therapy, which is all about changing our negative thought patterns. So, scientists started asking this really fundamental question. Why are some people just happier, more satisfied than others? And maybe more importantly, could the rest of us learn to do whatever it is they're doing? And the answer they kept landing on again and again, one of the single best predictors for how happy people are, how easily they make friends, how well they get through tough times, was a concept we're all familiar with, but maybe don't take seriously enough: an antidote to dissatisfaction. And that antidote? It's gratitude. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Gratitude can sound like just another self-help buzzword you see slapped on an Instagram post. But what we're talking about today isn't based on trends. It's grounded in a massive body of scientific research and a ton of peer-reviewed studies. No, this is real, evidence-based stuff. So, what exactly is gratitude? Well, it turns out it's a surprisingly complex idea. It's not just one thing. It's a character trait. Some people just naturally have more of it. It's a fleeting feeling you can have in a moment. It's a virtue that societies value. And it's a behavior you can actually practice. You can feel it towards a person, a lucky break, or even just nature. And the wild part is, all of this seems to be deeply programmed right into our biology. Okay, so to really get gratitude, we kind of have to go way back. Its roots go deep into our evolutionary past, where it served a crucial purpose for our survival. So the ancestor of gratitude is probably this thing called reciprocity. Think of it like a biological signal that evolved to encourage us to cooperate. The cycle's super simple. Someone does something nice for you, your brain responds with that feeling of gratitude, and that feeling motivates you to return the favor. And the result, social bonds get stronger. And this isn't just a human thing. You see it in fish, birds, and especially in our primate cousins. And this whole cycle, it was a huge evolutionary advantage. As human brains got better at reading emotions, it became easier to spot and avoid the selfish individuals. Cooperating and building lasting relationships became the key to survival. So that little buzz of gratitude after someone shared food or showed you where to find water, yeah, that wasn't just some nice, fluffy feeling. It was a biological machine pushing our ancestors to form the friendships and communities that allowed humans to thrive. Okay, so gratitude helped us build entire societies. That's big. But what's it actually doing inside our own heads right now in the modern world? Well, it turns out this ancient feeling has some profound and really positive consequences for our brains. Well, when you actually feel gratitude, your brain just lights up. It stimulates the regions tied to reward, the pleasure centers. It activates the parts responsible for social bonding. It even sharpens your ability to figure out what other people's intentions are. And on top of all that, it literally makes it easier for your brain to store and recall positive memories. It's actively reshaping your brain's landscape. And this really shows the direct conflict, the battle between gratitude and all those negative emotions that fuel our dissatisfaction. On one side, gratitude builds up connection, contentment, and satisfaction. And on the other, it's actively fighting things like narcissism, materialism, envy, social comparison, and cynicism. It's almost like a psychological immune system against the toxic mindsets of modern life. So here's the really crucial part. All of this creates this powerful upward spiral. Feeling grateful leads to more positive feelings. Those feelings that encourage you to be more social, like, calling a friend. That social behavior then leads to more positive experiences, which, you guessed it, gives you even more to be grateful for. It's a self-reinforcing, virtuous cycle. Okay, so knowing all this is great, but is there a way we can actually become more grateful? Can we train ourselves to feel it more? The research says absolutely yes. All right, let's get practical and look at a simple tool for this pretty complex problem. But first, we gotta get a few really important things straight. This is not a magic pill for happiness. Life is complicated, and some days are just gonna be hard. And this is the big one. Gratitude is not a substitute for professional help if you're struggling with something like depression. Think of it as one important piece of the mental health puzzle, not the whole solution. Okay, with that said, the absolute simplest and most well-researched exercise is the good old gratitude journal. The steps are super straightforward. A few times a week, just take a couple of minutes and write down 5 to 10 things you're grateful for. The real key here is to be specific. Now, this might feel a little weird at first, so just start simple. The amazing taste of your morning coffee, or the fact that a stranger was kind to you. You can also just reflect on the people in your life and think about how much you'd miss them if they weren't around. And look, if you're sitting there thinking, this sounds way too simple to actually work, hey, you're not alone. There's a quote from the source material that I just love. It seems almost insulting. Things shouldn't be so simple. It just perfectly captures that feeling of skepticism. But, and this is the amazing part, multiple studies have shown that after just a few weeks of this simple exercise, people don't just say they feel happier and more satisfied, but get this, researchers can actually see the changes in their brain activity even months later. It really seems like this simple practice can be a genuine way to start reprogramming your brain's perspective. And this all leads to a really, really empowering idea. Your emotions are not fixed. The way you see the world is, in the end, a reflection of what you believe about it. So if you can actively work to change your fundamental beliefs about your own life by focusing on what you have instead of what you lack, you can actually change your thoughts, which in turn changes how you feel and how you act. So I guess I'll just leave you with this final thought to really chew on. It's a powerful question that gets right to the heart of everything we've talked about. What if, after you take a closer look, you find that your life is already much, much better than you thought it was?